Cordel Andersen was a two-time wrestling All-American for Utah State, one of only two Aggies to do that. He came from nearby Preston, Idaho, and in 4 varsity seasons won 116 matches, second best in school history. He twice finished 6th in his weight division at the NCAA Championship meet.
In high school, I was luckily a 4-time state champion, and actually was the first state champion from Preston. I had a great coach up there, Larry Hansen. He came in when I was a freshman, and was a great coach, and fortunately I was able to be a part of that team. My older brother got me into wrestling. I hadn't really wrestled before I got into high school. I'd played basketball. Fortunately enough, I broke my arm in the 8th grade, and that put me behind on the basketball team. And so the next year, my older brother talked me into going out for the wrestling team, and things turned out pretty well. I did have a few choices where to go to college. I was recruited by a few different colleges, and initially I was thinking I might go down to BYU because my older brother again, who I was very close with, went down there. He was 2 years older than me. I thought I'd go down there, but then Coach Carlson came onto the scene and things changed quite a bit. I remember his first phone call. I was actually out on the farm. We had a dairy farm growing up. I was milking the cows, and Coach Carlson called me up, and it didn't take long. He started winning me over. He had great recruiting skills, and he won me over fairly soon. I still was actually leaning towards going down to BYU, but after a few more visits with Coach Carlson, I decided I was going to be an Aggie. It was a source of pride to be a member of the Utah State Aggie wrestling team because we were at the top and we were nationally ranked. And so when we put on the Aggie uniform, we wanted to go out there and perform and do our best, which we did, and we generally came out on top. I'd mentioned how I had thought I may want to go to BYU originally, and so that was a big rival, and I'm lucky to say that we won, I believe, 3 out of the 4 years I wrestled, and that was special to beat them. But we were pretty much the top of the region, and of course Coach Carlson pushed us to be that way. And that was one of our goals, and for the most part we achieved that, I believe, during my career. As I reminisce about traveling and years with the team, we did have some fun experiences. We would always take a trip every other year up to Oregon, and then we'd also go down to California. We'd all load up in the van and take off, and Coach Carlson made it a fun experience. The first part usually wasn't the funnest because I'd be cutting weight. And it seemed like I used to cut more weight than most guys on the team. Of course, I'd rub that into them, but they'd give me a bad time. Some of them didn't cut as much weight, and they got to eat on the trips. And when I cut weight, a lot of times I was a little bit ornery, and they would chide me a little bit about being ornery when I was cutting weight. But those were fun experiences to travel on the van with the whole team, and we became close that way, and we'd go compete and usually win, which was made it a lot more fun. Because if we didn't win, Coach Carlson was on us, and we didn't like that, and that was added incentive to get out there and win the match and support the school or represent ourselves well. But we had great experiences traveling. Of course, the experiences going back to nationals to compete at the national tournament are great memories that I have, and will always remember. Probably what meant the most to me in my college experience was being an All-American, a 2-time All-American. I remember a class in high school, actually, they said to write down some goals that you wanted to accomplish in your life. And of course, at that time, athletics was very important to me, and one of my goals was to become an All-American like my high school coach was. And so that was the most important to me, is to obtain that goal, lifetime goal of becoming an All-American. And so I think that's the most memorable achievement I've accomplished.